Finding the Present. Page 250, chapter 13, section 6, Finding the Present. I'm going to start, and let's read in this order. Hold on just one second, I need to write it down. I'll read first Garrick, everybody listening, Garrick, David, Natalie, Roxy, Amarali, Connie, and I guess then we'll go back to, pardon me?
Kim, don't forget me.
And Kim, that's right. And Alan, I guess, and you usually don't want to read. I know, Jackie, you don't, and Dion, you can't. So we're good. Okay, so I'll say it again. Rudy, Garrick, David, Natalie, Roxy, Amarali, Connie, back to Kim. Okay, page 250, section 6, Finding the Present. To perceive truly is to be aware of all reality through the awareness of your own. But for this, no illusions can rise to meet your sight, for reality leaves no room for any error. This means that you perceive a brother only as you see him now. His past has no reality in present, so you cannot see it. Your past reactions to him are also not there, and if it is to them that you react, you see but an image of him that you make and cherish instead of him. In your questioning of illusions, ask yourself if it is really sane to perceive what was as now. If you remember the past as you look upon your brother, you will be unable to perceive the reality that is now.
You consider it natural to use your past experience as the reference point from which to judge the present. This is unnatural because it is delusional. When you have learned to look on everyone with no reference at all to the past, either his or yours as you perceived it, you will be able to learn from what you see now. For the past can cast no shadow to darken the present, unless you are afraid of the light. And only if you are, would you choose to bring darkness with you, and by holding it in your mind, see it as a dark cloud that shrouds your brothers and conceals their reality from your sight.
This darkness is in you. The Christ has revealed to you now has no past, and he is changeless, and in his changelessness lies your release. For if he is as he was created, there is no guilt in him. No cloud of guilt has risen to obscure him, and he stands revealed in everyone you meet because you see him through himself. To be born again is to let the past go and look without condemnation upon the present. The cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past, and if you would have it past and gone, you must not see it now. If you see it now in your illusions, it has not gone from you, although it is not there.
Time can release as well as imprison, depending on whose interpretation of it you use. Past, present, and future are not continuous unless you force continuity on them. You can perceive them as continuous and make them so for you, but do not be deceived. And then believe that this is how it is. For to believe reality is what you would have it be according to your use for it, is delusional. You would destroy time's continuity by breaking it into past, present, and future for your own purposes. You would anticipate the future on the basis of your past experience and plan for it accordingly. Yet by doing so, you are aligning past and future and not allowing the miracle, which could intervene between them to free you to be born again.
Miracle enables you to see your brother without his past, and so perceive him as born again. His errors are all past, and by perceiving him without them, you are releasing him. And since his past is yours, you share in this release. Let no dark cloud out of his past. Let no dark cloud out of your past obscure him from you. For truth lies only in the present, and you'll find it if you seek it there. You've looked for it where it is not, and therefore you have not found it. Learn then to seek it where it is, and it will dawn on eyes that see. Your past was made in anger, and if you use it to attack the present, you will not see the freedom the present holds.
Judgment and condemnation are behind you, and unless you bring them with you, you will see that you are free of them. Look lovingly upon the present, for it holds the only things that are forever true. All healing lies within it, because its continuity is real. It extends to all aspects of the sonship at the same time, and thus enables them to reach each other. The present is before time was, and will be when time is no more. In it are all things that are eternal, and they are one. Their continuity is timeless, and their communication is unbroken, for they are not separated by the past. Only the past can separate, and it is nowhere.
Okay. Let's hold it there, Connie. Thanks. Einstein would have had a great time reading this. Paragraph 2, you consider it natural to use your past experience as a reference point from which to judge the present. And then paragraph 3, sentence 6, the cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past, and if you would have it past and gone, you must not see it now. So on a physical level, this is the way we hold the universe in orbit. By looking at the past and making it really real by believing in it and thinking that it is so. It's actually the other way around from what we normally think happens to us. We think it's so, and then it appears. So how could we have anything but what we have now? Right? How can we have anything but what we have now? Because we think it's so. Garrick?
Okay, yeah, that you consider it natural to use your past experience as a reference point. We consider it natural because that is how the brain works. The brain predicts how it should respond based upon its previous experience. But this is a mind training course, not a brain training course. The brain rules behavior. We're trying to change our minds. So our peace of mind lies in our mind and not in our brains. And then in 4, where it says past, present, and future are not continuous unless you force continuity on them. So I like to think of time as this construct that we use to understand change. And we want to create a cause and effect. So then we have to go back and find out what the cause is in order to understand the effect now. But that is actually what the Course is telling us what not to do. And in fact, if you look at that, the cause doesn't exist until the effect does. So therefore, we've gone retroactively to decide what the cause is, not looking at the cause in the present.
Yeah.
Cause and effect is not, it does not bring us peace of mind. It brings us the fear, the sadness, the anger.
Mm.
It disempowers us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Garrett.
Mm.
Oh, Alan.
Yeah, what comes to my mind is not the events of the past or what someone did or what I did, etc., but what perhaps I could not bring to the present is the meaning I gave the past. In other words, I can change my mind about the meaning that I've given it. And that is what I would not bring forth, is the meaning that I had given it.
Mm.
So it gives me the opening to change my mind.
Mm. Mm. Good.
That's it.
Mm. Good.
Kim?
Talk it away.
There you go.
I just love that first sentence in paragraph 6.
Yeah.
Judgment and condemnation are behind you. I love that vision. And unless you bring them with you, you will see that you are free of them. I'm in to that.
And the sentence after that is my favorite. Look lovingly upon the present, for it holds the only things that are forever true.
Love that.
Yeah, one thing I don't know if anyone knows Dr. David R. Hawkins. He's a psychiatrist. He was actually a course student as well, and he had this one line that I didn't really understand until I just read this. And he said that there are no justified resentments. Any resentment that you have can't be justified, no matter what. So I think this passage really makes that clear.
Mm.
That's a good one to hold, my brother. Right?
Yeah.
It's never, you may have them, but they're never justified. In other words, like your calc is wrong. Your calc is wrong. It's just wrong. And how long do you want to be wrong? How long do you want to be wrong? It's a big deal that your calc is wrong. And it just keeps being wrong, no matter how much you want to force it. And not only that, you're fucked because you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Put it bluntly.
A lose-lose situation.
It's a lose-lose. Not only are you wrong, but it doesn't bless you.
So you've come home and your neighbor's sleeping out on the front porch. You ask him, "Well, what are you doing out here?" I won the argument. It's like
That's really good. Did you just make that up? Oh no, I'm kidding. He's really good at just popping things like.
well, I can never remember jokes, but that one fit the situation really well.
Great. I believe Connie, you were last, right?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Are we on 7 or?
We're on 7.
Yeah, okay. Paragraph 7?
Yes.
The present The present offers you your brothers in the light that would unite you with them and free you from the past. Would you then hold the past against them? For if you do, you are choosing to remain in the darkness that is not there and refusing to accept the light that is offered you. For the light of perfect vision is freely given as it is freely received and can be accepted only without limit. In this one still dimension of time that does not change and where there is no sight of what you were, you look at Christ and call his witnesses to shine on you because you called them forth. And they will not deny the truth in you because you looked for it in them and found it there.
Jim?
Now is the time of salvation, for now is the release from time. Reach out to all your brothers.
Yeah, hey, Dion? Dion? Dion?
I'm muting. Sorry, I'm muting.
Oh, it's okay. Great. Thank you. Go ahead, Kim.
Now is the time. Okay, I'm going to start over.
They're still around. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now is the time of salvation, for now is the release from time. Reach out to all your brothers and touch them with the touch of Christ. In timeless union with them is your continuity, unbroken, because it is wholly shared. God's guiltless Son is only light. There is no darkness in him anywhere, for he is whole. Call all your brothers to witness to his wholeness, as I am calling you to join with me. Each voice has a part in the song of redemption, the hymn of gladness and thanksgiving for the light to the creator of light. The holy light that shines forth from God's Son is the witness that his light is of his Father.
Shine on your brothers. Shine on your brothers in remembrance of your Creator, for you will remember him as you call forth the witness to his creation. Those whom you heal bear witness to your healing, for in their wholeness you will see your own. And as your hymns of praise and gladness rise to your Creator, you will return your thanks to his clear answer to your call. For it can never be that his Son called upon him and remained unanswered. His call to you is but your call to him, and in him you are answered by his peace.
Child of light, you know not that the light is in you, yet you will find it through its witnesses, for having given light to them, they will return it. Each one you see in light brings your light closer to your awareness. Love always leads to love. The sick who ask for love are grateful for it, and in their joy they shine with holy thanks. And this they offer you who gave them joy. They are your guides to joy, for having received it of you, they would keep it. You have established them as guides to peace, for you have made it manifest in them, and seeing it, its beauty calls you home.
There is a light that this world cannot give, yet you can give it as it was given to you. And as you give it, it shines forth to call you from the world and follow it. For this light will attract you as nothing in this world can do. And you will lay aside the world and find another. This other world is bright with love, which you have given it. And there will everything, and here will everything remind you of your Father and his Holy Son. Light is unlimited and spreads across this world in quiet joy. All those you brought with you will shine on you, and you will shine on them in gratitude, because they brought you here. Your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look at them.
Awaking unto Christ is following the laws of love of your free will, and out of quiet recognition of the truth in them. The attraction of light must draw you willingly, and willingness is signified by giving. Those who accept love of you become your willing witnesses to the love you gave them, and it is they who hold it out to you. In sleep, you are alone, and your awareness is narrowed to yourself, and that is why the nightmares come. You dream of isolation because your eyes are closed. You do not see your brothers, and in the darkness you cannot look upon the light you gave to them.
Roxy, do you want me to skip you?
I can do it. What paragraph?
Paragraph 12.
13.
Paragraph 13, sorry.
And yet the laws of love are not suspended because you sleep, and you have followed them through all your nightmares, and have been faithful in your giving. For you were not alone. Even in sleep has Christ protected you, ensuring the real world for you when you awake. In your name, he has given for you and given you the gifts he gave. God's Son is still as loving as his Father, continuous with his Father. He has no past apart from him. So he has never ceased to be his Father's witness and his own. Although he slept, Christ's vision did not leave him. And so it is that he can call unto himself. And so it is that he can call unto himself the witnesses that teach him he never slept.
Great, thank you. Paragraph 11, there is a light, first sentence, there is a light that this world cannot give. And I just want to make sure, actually for myself and everybody, that everybody gets this. The reason the world can't give the light isn't because the light isn't in the world. It just doesn't come from the world. The light comes from us. And you can, like an early strike on the Course in Miracles, there's a light the world cannot give. When you look at the world, you go, well, there's nothing good here. No, it's just the source is not here. The source is not here. This is an effect. It's not a cause. It's an effect. It's affected. It's affected. It's just a thing that happens that's ordered somewhere else. And the end of that paragraph, sentence 10, your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look on them. And that's another kind of blanket statement that I save the world. I, me, one. We save the world. I save the world. And I always bring up Yogananda here. And Yogananda said, with my mind, I heal all minds. So this goes across disciplines too. Thoughts? David?
So coming across this I'm sorry. Somebody else talk. Sorry. I'll organize my thoughts.
Okay, that's all right. Dad, I never seen men emotional, but I think you got emotional there.
Oh,
There must be
no.
something wrong with you. I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about that.
It's my light.
Thoughts?
I have a thought on that one that you just said, that sentence, the last sentence in 11, your light will join with theirs. I mean, that just struck me so great that when we join with another in that recognition, and doesn't matter who, what, when, or where, then there's so much compelling power in that to lift, to help us, forget the condemnation and judgment or whatever it is that might still be running the show sometimes.
Think about this for 1 second. The compelling power in what it took to write
Yeah.
this.
Amazing.
A compelling power within us that can organize all things in such a way. David?
When you come across the world and it seems empty, or you feel like, well, what's this? You have this. It's up to us. This light is. I liked how you said that. The light is we bring the light. We're the ones. So we're the ones that come to the party and are the ones that steer the consciousness. That's we're the ones that got privy to this little book, and so it's like our job to spread the word, but spread the word's not it. Just to bring the light, to bring it's kind of like a class in enthusiasm. I mean, finding the positive energy in the world and spreading it around. I mean,
By the way, your word there couldn't have been better picked because enthusiasm is God-given.
Yeah.
It's in the word.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Theos. Mm-hmm. And that's who we bring to the equation when we come through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah, so in paragraph 8, line 7, there are very few places in the course where it talks about songs, but this one, each voice has a part in the song of redemption, the hymn of gladness, and thanksgiving for the light to the creator of light. The holy light that shines forth from God's Son is the witness that his light is of his Father. So it's very difficult to be fearful when you're singing. I mean, you can have a song of fear, but when you're singing, you're usually singing joyfully. You're singing, song is a celebration. It's a time of gladness, of thanksgiving. It's a time of light. And so these times when it tells us to laugh, it tells us to sing, are signs that we're living in love, that we're extending God's love to other people. And I know, Rudy, you embody that, and we love your music. But so sometimes when you're feeling down or feeling that things aren't going well, it's just fun to go sing a song, turn on some music, and have a joyful noise.
Yeah.
Like I like to always respond to traffic with laughter. I think it's the most hilarious thing in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
Well said. Any other thoughts?
All the arts are that's it's like a utopian, like to visual artists and filmmakers and costume designers and rock stars. All those people are there to create, to enliven us, to spread joy, and to find something fascinating and wonderful, and beauty. It's a good word.
Don't be surprised if I don't take this little snippet of the conversation and have it in our EPK for the capital campaign for $11 million that we're going out on right now. And one of the reasons to build Music City is this conversation. It's bringing the arts back to a city that has become very robotic, not in a mean way or a bad way, but all the jobs that are available here are very highly paid, and they're in technology, and the people that have come have displaced the beat poet, the hippie, the musician, the painter, the the artists, and that's it.
I was sad to hear that when Slim's reopens, they're not going to have any more live music.
What?
Right.
That's another loss. Like it's slowly slipping away. You need to preserve that.
I mean, you know, I had this thought about this the other day, Rudy, that like right now at this point where everything is kind of, I don't know, sinking, that there's this perfect opportunity for restructuring again. I mean, I think a lot of those tech jobs now, people don't have to live here, so they can live in, you know, someplace else where it's not so expensive. Mm-hmm. So I think this moment is a perfect time for a project like this to really blossom and regenerate something like this time now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know, in the darkest hour, like this is an opportunity for people when they can see. And we grow our most when we're not at our best. Grow our most when we're not at our best. Because we have the opportunity to bring the light to the world.
And the Course says it's not up to us to have the obstacles removed, but to overcome them.
Right.
Right.
They serve that purpose to help us to grow and to change.
Paragraph 12, sentence 4. In sleep, to some degree, which we are, I don't think this is talking about going to bed at night, but in sleep, you are alone. And your awareness it's probably might even be both. You are alone and your awareness is narrow to yourself. And that is why nightmares come. You dream of isolation because your eyes are closed. You do not see your brothers. And when you don't see your brothers, and in that darkness, you cannot look upon the light you gave to them. So this is a romantic place. World, Earth, or Cosmos One. It's a romantic place. We could have like love affairs that are just off the hook. And I don't mean sexy stuff. I mean how you feel with your baker when you walk in and get your scones. how you're dealing. By the way, accountants are, those are the big numbers. I found out yesterday I owe another 28 to the government. It's like, I paid them a fortune this year. I resent it. Should I? No, but we do. But to be able to take this and make it just love, it's fine. It's okay.
Can I say something? The way that sentence is, like, okay, when you close your eyes, you can't see your brothers. It's like a baby, playing peekaboo. It's like they're gone. Mommy's gone. What do you mean? What do you mean? With the faith, we have faith. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that sentence is. They've taken dreaming and they made it some sort of dark thing. I think dreaming is one of the fantastic things on this planet, in the human experience. Now I understand the metaphor, and the way they're describing it is not like a dream, because when you dream at night, it's you're exercising your thoughts. You know, it's I think it's a glorious thing that we are given. I mean that it's um in semantics. It's just they use that word for something else. But then when you close your eyes, what do you mean? What do you mean you can't see your brother? Hey, I can see him no matter what. I can see him better with my eyes closed.
Another way to look at your brother is your creation. There's a theological issue that I have with the whole course community, and with Tony, and we don't disagree on much. And I'm actually so in other words, this is just something I'm going to throw out. Y'all accept or reject it, and the whole community would say that every now and then in the course, and there might be 30 times the idea, the word your creations comes up. And somehow everyone that is an authority on this has always said there's creations that we're creating in other universes, and we don't understand that word. Well, I'm really a pragmatist. I think it's talking about you guys. I don't know. It's just a thought. So when you read that, see if that fits for you.
Yeah.
See if it fits for you.
does.
I mean, it may fit, it may not. For me, I just had this quandary of, it's like, talking about heaven, and it's, happens behind the curtain, the things over there. And I went rogue on everyone. Tony likes to make fun of me, and he will. That's good. I mean, but.
Well, in the Course, we give everything all the meaning it has for us. Really, God doesn't have language. His language is love. So any word you want to decide what it means, guess what? You're right. Because you decided the meaning. So that's why you can't really argue the Course. There's nothing to argue. You decide what this means, and that meaning in your experience is all that matters. And you being able to project it out to extend God's love to other people.
You're right.
Well, it's interesting to me. I mean, we're talking about this in finding the present. So finding the present to me means what's right in front of me right now. And that's if the whole thing is really about the present, then yeah, it's not going to be in some other place or in some day in the future. It's what's here and what I'm looking at right now.
It's great because the whole enchilada doesn't change. The present. It's a beautiful thing to kind of own that one, because again, we're not limited, we're not needy, because it's complete. And then that the whole idea of the creations being somewhere else, it's another one of those limitations. God, why did you put the limitation? Why didn't you put the creation over there where I don't understand? Let me scratch my head. Are there aliens? I see. Okay. Any other thoughts on this chapter? I believe it's your turn to read, David. Page 254, section 7, the attainment of the real world.
The attainment of the real world. Sit quietly and look upon the world. The world you see, and tell yourself, the real world is not like this. It has no building, and there are no streets where people walk along and separate. There are no stores where people buy an endless list of things they do not need. It is not lit with artificial light, and night comes not upon it. There is no day that brightens and grows dim. There is no loss. Nothing is there but shines and shines forever.
The world you see must be denied, for sight of it is costing you a different kind of vision. You cannot see both worlds, for each of them involves a different kind of seeing and depends on what you cherish. The sight of one is possible because you have denied the other. Both are not true, yet either one will seem as real to you as the amount to which you hold it dear. And yet their power is not the same because their real attraction to you is unequal.
I don't think Roxy's here, so I'll just go. You do not really want the world you see, for it has disappointed you since time began. The homes you built have never sheltered you. The roads you made have led you nowhere, and no city that you built has withstood the crumbling assault of time. Nothing you made but has the mark of death upon it. Hold it not dear, for it is old and tired and ready to return to dust even as you made it. This aching world has not the power to touch the living world at all. You could not give it that. And so, although you turn in sadness from it, you cannot find in it the roads that lead away from it in another world.
Yet the real world has the power to touch you even here because you love it. And what you call with love will come to you. Love always answers, being unable to deny a call for help or not to hear the cries of pain that rise to it from every part of this strange world you made, but do not want. All that you need to give this world away in glad exchange for what you did not make is willingness to learn the one you made is false.
You have been wrong about the world because you have misjudged yourself. From such a twisted reference point, what could you see? All seeing starts with the perceiver, who judges what is true and what is false. And what he judges false, he does not see. You who would judge reality cannot see it, for whenever judgment enters, reality has slipped away. The out of mind is out of sight, because what is denied is there, but it's not recognized. Christ is still there, although you know him not. His being does not depend upon your recognition. He lives within you in the quiet present and waits for you to leave the past behind and enter into the world he holds out to you in love.
No one in this distracted world but has seen some glimpses of the other world about him. Yet while he still lays value on his own, he will deny the vision of the other, maintaining that he loves what he loves not, and following not the road that love points out. Love leads so gladly. As you follow him, you will rejoice that you have found his company and learned of him and the joyful journey home. You wait, but for yourself, to give this sad world over and exchange your errors for the peace of God is but your will. And Christ will always offer you the will of God in recognition that you share it with him.
It is God's will that nothing touch his Son except himself, and nothing else comes nigh unto him. He is as safe from pain as God himself, who watches over him in everything. The world about him shines with love because God placed him in himself where pain is not, and love surrounds him without end or flaw. Disturbance of his peace can never be. In perfect sanity, he looks on love, for it is all about him and within him. He must deny the world of pain the instant he perceives the arms of love around him. And from this point of safety, he looks quietly about him and recognizes that the world is one with him.
The peace of God passeth your understanding only in the past. Yet here it is, and you can understand it now. God loves his Son forever, and his Son returns his Father's love forever. The real world is the way that leads you to remembrance of the one thing that is wholly true and wholly yours. For all else you have lent yourself in time, and it will fade. But this one thing is always yours, being the gift of God unto his Son. Your one reality was given you, and by it God created you as one with him.
You will first dream of peace and then awaken to it. Your first exchange of what you made for what you want is the exchange of nightmares for the happy dreams of love. In these lie your true perceptions, for the Holy Spirit corrects the world of dreams where all perception is. Knowledge needs no correction, yet the dreams of love lead unto knowledge. In them you see nothing fearful, and because of this they are the welcome that you offer knowledge. Love waits on welcome, not on time, and the real world is but your welcome of what always was. Therefore, the call of joy is in it, and your glad response is your awakening to what you have not lost.
Okay, let's just hold it there.
I love that very last line. You're awakening to what you have not lost. I love that. This whole course is full of these shortcuts. Like you're already happy. You just didn't know it yet. I mean the world is your oyster, and you forgot to enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. I mean, here it is, and let's tell everybody about it. I love these little obvious. It's like it's so obvious. Be happy now. I mean, it's really great.
There's really nothing that's more obvious.
Yay.
Right? I mean, here it is, this entity that has the potential to be happy, subject to nothing, doesn't. That's outrageous.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's out of range, really out of range of sensibility. Outrageous. Paragraph 1, and the first 4 paragraphs there are describing a state of mind which creates a state of world, which is directly connected with the way the Holy Spirit is showing us to exist. Existing by the thought that there is no fear. Existing by the thought that there is no fear. So what would our minds create when there is no fear? It's describing a world that sounds, I mean, it's got no streets and doesn't have any. Paragraph 1, about the 3rd line down, there are no stores where people buy an endless list of things you do not need. It is not lit with the artificial light, and night comes not upon it. There is no day that brightens and grows dim. There is no loss. Nothing is there but shines and shines forever. So my first thoughts about that ain't no, Jesus, like no more Marshall amps, no more guitars. I mean, you know how we get. I mean, we want things that we really dig. Are we going to have women? Right? Hey.
Hey, I object. I mean, you're objecting.
Yeah.
Objectifying. Hey, bad. That's bad.
That's bad. But my point is where we're going and what is possible, where we're going and what is possible. We can't imagine. We can't imagine how this can be so. So isn't it great to be in a universe where these gifts are of pure joy and love are beyond our ability to really know what they are now. So let's just see how beautiful beauty can be. Garrett.
First of all, what ancient text can talk to us about buildings and light and stores and shopping for things we don't need? I mean, this is such a modern concept, but I was pretty digging the course even when I first found the Community Miracle Center. But one of the things I struggled with is, well, if none of this is real, what does reality look like? And I really started to fear, the not knowing what that is. And the answer came to me: it is not unfamiliar to you. And that's all I had to hear. If we are love and God is love, and that is the reality of who we are, we already know what it is. It's not like it's strange or unfamiliar. The real world, whatever it may be, with no natural light and the things we think that we love here, are but a small, are a distraction from the true love that exists in reality. So I'm comforted that it's not. I actually completely know what that's like because I know what love is.
That reminds me of the forgotten song. Yeah, we already know. We've just forgotten that beautiful song.
Yeah.
It's there.
And
it doesn't look like anything. It's not a visual thing. It's an experience.
An experience, and it's we live in these artificial lighted stores, and this is our domain. This is America. Whatever. We are privy to this enlightenment that we can bring, and it's okay to be in those places. Those places are the world, and it's up to us to bring the light, bring the real light of joy to those places. I think that the world is all those places. I think all those places, that they're talking about is, but we don't have to see them because we're bringing a much higher frequency of vision to our world, and that's the backdrop. Doesn't matter what the backdrop is. We are here. We're living in the modern world.
It's interesting how everybody uses that word frequency more and more and more, because we are frequencies. A song is a frequency. It's waves. Even if you pluck a string, it's a wave. It's doing this, and same with melodies. And any other thoughts on this part?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what David was talking about dreams. If you go back to the very last paragraph in the previous section, 13, line 8 says, although he slept, Christ's vision did not leave him. So just because you were asleep and dreaming doesn't mean that Christ's light left you. And then in 9 of 13, it says, you will first dream of peace and then awaken to it. So dreams are an important part of us awakening to the peace of mind that everything offers us. So it's the idea that sleeping is used as a metaphor or is used as a way to tell you that you're creating your own nightmares, or even whether it's reality, there's also the dream of peace that we can also have while we're, sleeping, or we have to be asleep to dream, just like we're asleep now and dreaming this dream, this illusion.
Dreaming of peace is forgiving. It's right there. I mean, I'd have to say the idea is forgiving. If you really think about it. So where do you end up by bringing that idea into fruition of forgiveness? You end up with peace, and then the peace brings us the real world.
I really appreciate, I'm glad you mentioned it, the peace in the real world. That first sentence in paragraph 8 that talks about the peace of God passeth your understanding only in the past. I found that intriguing this time because, I always, write my cards with the peace that passes understanding or whatever. And I thought that was very interesting that it only passes our understanding in the past. So it's something we do know it. Yeah.
Mankind seems to be walking in the right direction overall.
Yeah.
Overall, walking in the right direction towards the light.
Towards Joe Biden.
We can't go wrong no matter what.
Oh boy.
If we get to the end.
Okay. Anybody remember who read last? No.
No.
I think it's getting towards me.
Go for it.
Oh, wait a minute. I do. I think it was Connie, right?
No, it was me, I think.
Was you? Okay. Then it's you, Connie. It's right around here.
Well, but I'm after Amarali.
So it is Amarali. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because what happened, Roxy left and she messed up my apple cart.
There you go.
There you go.
May someone please tell me what paragraph we're on?
10, paragraph 10, page 256.
Okay, thank you. Praise then the Father for the perfect sanity of his Son, of his most holy Son. Your Father knoweth that you have need of nothing. In heaven this is so, for what could you need in eternity? In your world you do not need things. It is a world of scarcity in which you find yourself because you are alive. Yet, can you find yourself in such a world? Without the Holy Spirit, the answer would be no. Yet because of him, the answer is a joyous yes. As mediator between the two worlds, he knows what you have need of and will not hurt you. Ownership is a dangerous concept if it is left to you. The ego wants to have things for salvation, for possession is its law. Possession for its own sake is the ego's fundamental creed, a basic cornerstone in the churches it builds to itself. And at its altar, it demands you lay all of the things it bids you get, leaving you no joy in them.
Everything the ego tells you that you need will hurt you. For although the ego urges you again and again to get, it leaves you nothing. For what you get, it will demand of you. And even from the very hands that grasped it, it will be wrenched and hurled into the dust. For where the ego sees salvation, it sees separation, and so you lose whatever you have gotten in its name. Therefore, ask not of yourself what you need, for you do not know, and your advice to yourself will hurt you. For what you think you need will merely serve to tighten up your world against the light and render you unwilling to question the value that this world can really hold for you.
Only the Holy Spirit knows what you need, for he will give you all things that do not block the way up to life. And what else could you need? In time, he gives you all the things that you need to have and will renew them as long as you have need of them. He will take nothing from you as long as you have any need of it. And yet he knows that everything you need is temporary and will but last until you step aside from all your needs and realize that all of them have been fulfilled. Therefore, he has no investment in the things that he supplies, except to make certain that you will not use them on behalf of lingering in time. He knows that you are not at home there, and he wills no delay to wait upon your joyous homecoming.
Leave then your needs to him. He will supply them with no emphasis at all upon them. What comes to you of him comes safely, for he will ensure it never can become a dark spot hidden in your mind and kept to hurt you. Under his guidance, you will travel light and journey lightly, for his sight is ever on the journey's end, which is his goal. God's Son is not a traveler through outer worlds. However holy his perception may become, no world outside himself holds his inheritance. Within himself, he has no needs, for light needs nothing but to shine in peace, and from itself to let the rays extend in quiet and in infinity.
Whenever you are tempted to undertake a useless journey that would lead away from light, remember what you really want and say, the Holy Spirit leads me unto Christ, and where else would I go? What need have I but to awake in him?
Then follow him in joy with faith.
You're on mute, David.
You're muted.
Oh,
David, you're muted.
oh, I'm mute. Okay. Then follow him in joy with faith that he will lead you safely through all dangers in your peace of mind. In your peace of mind, this world may set before you. Kneel not before the altars of sacrifice, and seek not what you will surely lose. Content yourself with what you will as surely keep, and be not restless in your undertaking, for you undertake a quiet journey to the peace of God, where he would have you be in quietness.
In me, you have already overcome every temptation that would hold you back. We walk together on the way to quietness that is the gift of God. Hold me dear, for what except your brothers can you need? We will restore to you the peace of mind that we must find together. The Holy Spirit will teach you to awaken unto us and to yourself. This is the only real need to be fulfilled in time. Salvation from the world lies only there. My peace I give you. Take it of me in glad exchange for all the world has offered but to take away. And we will spread it like a veil of light across the world's sad face, in which we hide our brothers from the world and it from them.
Amorali?
We cannot sing redemption's hymn alone. My task is not completed until I have lifted every voice with mine. And yet it is not mine, for as it is my gift to you, so was it the Father's gift to me, given me through his Spirit. The sound of it will banish sorrow from the mind of God's most holy Son, where it cannot abide. Healing in time is needed, for joy cannot establish its eternal reign where sorrow dwells. We dwell not here, but in eternity. You travel but in dreams, while safe at home. Give thanks to every part of you that you have taught how to remember you. Thus does the Son of God give thanks unto his Father for his purity.
Okay.
Wow.
Long section. Paragraph 10, sentence 10. Ownership is a dangerous concept if it is left to you. The ego wants to have things for salvation, for possession is its law. I think we feel that, we feel that all the time. We need to have the right thought. We need to have the right moment, the right feeling. Paragraph 11, sentence 5. Therefore, ask not of yourself, kind of President Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but therefore ask not of yourself what you need, for you do not know. And your advice to yourself will hurt you. So we are, our job is to really know only one thing. Which voice do I listen to? One thing. It's like, which voice do I listen to right now?
I think that goes along with the call to be just truly helpful, that you're going outside yourself to find your contribution to others, that you're not seeking what you need, but you're seeking what you can give away. If you go to the beginning of 11, everything the ego tells you that you need will hurt you. But although the ego urges you again and again to get, it leaves you nothing. For what you get, it will demand of you. That we can only truly have anything by giving it away, not by getting it. And you can't actually ever have anything by taking it. In the time that I was homeless and seeing people who lived in lack completely and felt like they had to take in order to get something, I never met a thief who ever had anything. If they're constantly taking, why shouldn't they have just gobs of things? They should have just riches. If they keep taking from everybody else, they had nothing. They never had anything because all they did was take. The only way you can ever have anything is by giving.
In practice with this, so paragraph 14, the second line down, the end of the sentence, and he says this a few times in the book, remember what you really want. And so in practice, what I am finding is that, because I get a little freaked out about not wanting anything. I'm like, how can I live in this world not wanting anything? Like, well, it's just it's something I'm not comfortable with. But what I'm finding in practice is that that if I stay in wanting peace, which I understand to be the objective here, instead of conflict, like if I make that my focus, then the things that I'm led to in the material world are different and seem to be, or in what appears to be the material world. I mean, I don't know that much, but the things that I'm led to in my life, it might seem unexpected to me, but because they're things that don't have as much conflict associated with them, my experience of whatever it is then, more, I don't know what the word would be, satisfying.
I actually had a question about that. On paragraph 14.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you are tempted to undertake a useless journey, I don't know, maybe you guys can help me out. Like, what would be an example of a useless journey in this context, and how you understand it?
Does anybody want to jump on this?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
just say for me, real quick, one of the that people kept telling me about useless journeys, and for me, and I'm just talking about this lifetime. It was always getting married and doing, because it was a journey. People would say you need to love yourself first or whatever, but I wasn't looking within first. That's all for I think.
Okay.
Doing things from fear. It's a useless journey. I need that college degree. So if I don't get it, I need that person. I need that amount of money in the bank. It's out of a world out of need it's a useless journey because you never needed it to begin with.
The status quo.
And this doesn't mean that we don't go out and get it, right? We can go out and get it. I mean, but we're not getting it because we need it. We get it because we want it.
Right.
We just, and the Holy Spirit, well, go ahead. Whoever that was.
It feels like we're coming from a place of lack at that point, and that we're just looking for something to complete us in a certain way. It could be anything, a job, clothes, a lover, whatever. Just coming from that place of not feeling whole and complete with ourselves.
Those things that we chase after because it's the right thing to do, we're on the right track, whatever, and knowledge, whatever, all everything, all those things are equally good and equally bad. They're if you want them for the right reason and you're prepared for them, and if you're that they're delightful things to have. I mean, but it's just gaining. It's an attitude adjustment in your spiritual brain of like why do I want this? Of like
Yeah.
I want to add that I think for me, my useless journeys were things that would bring me future satisfaction or would validate who I am in the future.
Right.
Which doesn't mean that I don't pursue things that fulfill me, but that I don't have to find my value in the future. My value is in the present. So trying to find a career or status or a level of wealth or anything I thought I needed to be happy was completely useless, because you never get there. The goal always changes. You never actually realize it. So now I'm in grad school. I feel so fulfilled and accomplished, but it's not some future accomplishment. It's my present state. And though I'm doing wonderful things that I think are important in this world, I'm not doing them because I'm seeking some future validation of who I am, or that it's all really in the present, that I'm doing the things in the present that fulfill me, that bring me light into my life.
It's funny how sort of following the dream. You go to San Francisco and you grow your hair and whatever. You kind of drop out and it's it could be another one of those things, but it really leaves you open for these kind of enlightened like thoughts. That there's there weren't a lot of answers, but in the 60s, whatever, when there weren't answers. There was a lot of questions, and to question the establishment and up the establishment, whatever. I mean, these things, but it really had an enlightening effect. I mean, that people got a better. Well, they were open to all these paths, and this is I like this one.
To me, a useless journey is anything I need or want which is just about everything in my life, and as compared to having peace as to the same peace as to whether it's there or not.
I'm having kind of an interesting experience with this idea in my current unfolding of my life. I'm having this weird thing where all my credentialing and experience has been declared obsolete. Like the last 6 months, just through, and I always had a bunch of different things that I did, and it's I see myself jumping into this thing of like, well, okay, let me figure out how to get some other credential. And then I feel like my guidance is no, just be with it, like be with doing something without that. And it's just interesting. I just mentioned it because it's interesting. It's a very, I feel like it's a very course-like experience, and going through it without, it's taken a lot of faith. It's taken a lot of faith and help from the prayer group.
I just to mention that, we're not at our best right now. We could be. Some of us are, might be. But for the most part, I'm noticing a lot of sadness when people come on Zoom, like at my job. Like I said, they got these lowered feeling tones that are kind of a little undeniable. And especially individuals that are completely isolated and have gone for the complete lockdown. And I would say that, again, what an opportunity. I mean, this is where we can bring the joy to vivre no matter what the world looks like, smells like, tastes like. And maybe this is the opportunity where we see that we make the world.
Yeah.
And we make it. And I'm going to cook it up a little differently. Get my favorite spices out there. And,
Reinvention it's a time to reinvent things. To reinvent your view I mean, there are people that are going through hardships and the statistics. I mean, we haven't heard the individual stories, but people are going to get evicted now. I mean, it's terrible. So there are people that are just embracing the ultimate hardship of like losing your house. There's going to be a lot of homeless people because of this pandemic. We have to pray for those people, and but so many people I know have benefited from this time. I mean, so the status quo is erased. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing now. So let's do something great. I mean, here's your chance to choose. There is no obvious place. So our creativity and our brilliance is like is called into the matter, and if we act, we can become accustomed to deciding what to do instead of following. We can be leaders. We can show people how to do it better. Show ourselves how to do it better.
And so there's layers and dimensions of what's happening sociologically, politically, economically. We're in a very challenging place. we're going to see things that are going to be really exceptional. I mean, I can see the challenge for me is as a landlord is I'm going to have to, decide whether I want to evict people, or maybe I won't be able to evict people, and on and on. So I'm just open to all of those challenges, and you know what? They're all equal. I mean, the world itself is no better, no worse than it was 6 months ago before the virus. So I'm kind of, I am my own rooting section here in this class. Like, go, 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 go. Just go, go, go. Ask for guidance. Don't fight, no matter what. Don't fight. Yeah, that's all. Forrest says, and that's all I got to say about that.
They used to tell us a story. One of the stories from the yoga tradition is that there's this guy, and now I probably won't remember the whole thing, but there's this guy, and he gets a horse. And and you're imagining this is India where people don't have much, and he gets this horse, and thousands of years ago, whatever. And anyhow, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you have a horse! You have a horse!" And he's like, "Yeah, I have a horse." And then the horse runs away, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is terrible. Your beautiful horse ran away." And then, like a week later, the horse comes back, and it brings a bunch of horse friends it made when it runs away. And so it's like, "Oh, well, look, now you have all these horses." And then the guy gets a wife and has a kid, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is so wonderful. You have a kid. You have a kid." And then the kid gets hurt, and everyone's like, "This is so terrible. Your kid got hurt." And then there's an army that drafts him, and because the kid's hurt, he doesn't have to go to war. So the whole story is just about how we really have no idea what's good or bad in the larger unfolding of the universe, and that there's actually, my understanding walking through all of this is that there's this tapestry that's there's our projection onto the world, but there's also this level beyond that is this divine tapestry that we don't necessarily always see. And we're kind of, if we kind of get moved in a particular direction, maybe we have to relocate, maybe we have to go to a different home. And the only way, I know I've had it in my life where it was time for me to change, and I kept digging my heels in until the universe just went whack. And then I would have to move in a different direction. So I feel there's a lot of that happening now, that it might just be shifting. We're all being shifted like pieces on a chessboard. And I just try to stay open to the possibilities that are opening, as opposed to focusing so much, even though I'm concerned about my credentials. I'm not concerned anymore, they're gone. But, instead of focusing on what's closing down.
I call it the big, hello? There's could we all hit mute for about 5 seconds? I'm back. So I call it the we'll see. The big and the guy that I got going for that one, it's the big chief. And he lost his nation, and but then he got his house, but then he lost his horse, but but we'll see. And it's a story of judgment. I will judge it good, and I will judge it bad, and I will judge it. So we need to, ask for guidance. And asking for guidance is the only action that ever really happens with all the words. Holy Spirit, where do I go? What do I do? What do I say? And to whom? And all of this And some of these words are pure bliss, although it's about it's about that judgment again. And if you ask the Holy Spirit for what to do and where to go, you will have no judgment. Raleigh, I'd love to hear from you a little more. Anything out there? Where are you?
I'm in Vancouver, BC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, one thing that I got was that same paragraph 10, line 10 that you mentioned. Ownership is a dangerous concept if it is left to you. The ego wants to have things for salvation, for possession is its law. Another David Hawkins book I read, he said that nothing belongs to you, and that the moment you add my to something, it totally changes dimension. And once you do that, you add a certain glamour to it. And then that glamour is what people die for. Like, people will go to war for what they consider mine. So he said, like, for example, that's just a watch. It's not, but the moment it becomes like old granddad's watch, there's a sentimentality attached to it. And I'll kill you for that watch. You don't touch that watch. So the watch and the body should be referred to as an it. And that's the good practice to go through daily life, because we have temporary custody over these things, and to not claim ownership over that which we don't have any ownership. So
that's great.
That's about it.
That's great. Does anybody ever have that experience of looking at I did this morning, looking at your body and it seeming like somebody else? And it's not just my beard. It's like I don't own it. Like it's not, they're not mine. Like, yeah, like I just don't need to be in it. Really? Don't really need to be in it. So
I hope I get there. I hope I get there one day. So far, I see things. I'm like, damn, that I wish it could be a bit better. But maybe one day. That's what I'm aiming for.
Oh, these are very temporary glimpses.
Okay.
For just a sec.
The idea that you're good at organizing large systems, so you find a large system to operate. You don't need to own it. You just need to be the guy that works it. It's it is very interesting, ownership and your access to the world, access to various parts of the world that you consider your domain, or that where your skill set lies. And these things, I've gone through periods in my life where I had this feeling of lack because I didn't have the tools that I need to have to do what I felt compelled to do. Guitars and whatever, blah blah blah. I mean, and video, and I've attached myself to these complex things that have to do with current technology, and it is taming the world is just finding your place. That it's all there. This book, it shows you how to find it, how to accept it, accept that you'll get whatever you need, and it won't be a problem. And it's ownership.
Capitalism is based on ownership. I am not going to make it wrong. No, The idea of bridling it is a great, use right now. So we can bridle something that seems to work for now. That means, pay our taxes and weave it into the betterment of all the disadvantaged and the lower classes and et cetera, bring everybody to a certain spot. But at one point, we're going to want to do things because it's done for everybody. And that will happen. And we won't have to be as capitalistic to, energize our social economic structure. But for now, I wouldn't know where to jump to.
Well, it's our job to make sense out of the where we're at. This is what we get. This is what we get, and what can we do with this version of the present? It's all about the present, and that's what and make it nice. Make it nice,
Well, I think the main point is paragraph 13, line 7. Within herself, has no needs, for light needs nothing but to shine in peace, and from itself to let the rays extend in quiet to infinity. I mean, that's just a beautiful way to feel and, kind of incorporate what I'm doing.
Yeah. Spread the light.
I think paragraph 15, though, is really important in that sentence 1, and then the piece about faith, follow him, but with the faith that he will lead you, where you are to go. Faith is huge.
Little miracles. That's like faith is kind of like you're protected by a net of miracles. There's no way I could get over there. No problem. You got miracles, man. You're good. You have to have the faith. This isn't your time to stop. This is your time to show us how it's done. Magicians.
I would have to say that losing absolutely everything I owned and being homeless was incredibly freeing. I didn't have ownership anymore. Even if I did have ownership, it's tenuous. The things I had were taken away constantly. So it was in that loss that I found happiness.
Wow.
Literally, my lack of ownership led me happiness. And now living a life of abundance where I don't believe that I lack anything. I just had to add up all of my sources of income here. I'm a student. I barely work. I haven't worked all summer because of the corona. And I'd add up all of my sources of income. It was $85,000 for the year. And how can that not be abundance? I don't even try at this anymore. And there's a lot of expenses that go along with that, including grad school. But you know what? It's always taken care of. You know what? My rent has been completely paid on time every month all the way through this pandemic. Where does it come from? I'm not working. It's amazing.
Yay.
I think the way that the universe provides for the things that you need. And I'm by no means wealthy, but I think that I'm extremely comfortable. I have a great apartment and I live in a great neighborhood. I'm just really blessed. And I think that comes from letting go of lack. When you want to focus on lack, you're going to create more lack.
Right.
When you focus on abundance, you're going to create more abundance.
Yeah, just to add to that, if anyone's read this book I'm currently reading, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, it's literally what Garrick's saying right now. This man found peace in a Nazi concentration camp.
Yeah.
Like, he literally entered a state of peace when death was imminent and he had nothing. And just like what Garrick's saying, he all through his book, I noticed he's recounting all the positive parts of his. He only sees the positive. Like, one day he found like a pea in his soup, like a little pea, and he couldn't believe it. He's like, actually, they gave me a pea in my soup. And he wrote about it. I'm like, this man is so incredibly positive. And I don't know, that it reminded me of that book I'm reading right now. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll say I had a similar experience to you, Garrick, when I had my brain aneurysm, and I found myself in the hospital for a month. All that hole in my head, and some of the happiest days of my life. I didn't have to worry about fucking financial monstrosity, How did that happen, right?
You made it out alive.
Huh?
You made it out alive.
Made it out alive. That's right.
Yeah, here's to that.
Well, we're at the end of the class, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to remind everybody down in the chat, give to the Community Miracle Center. We are a badass organization. And since we don't pass the little bag, which used to be kind of full from time to time, the church needs to pay rent. Church has got a lot of internet things that, to make things happen, like, for example, this particular Zoom. And we're just badass. The delivery of A Course in Miracles, and to be part of that. We're the mightiest of what we do in the world right now. And so go to chat and...
I'm not seeing it there, Rudy.
It's there. It's at the bottom of chat, at the very bottom of it.
There it is.
Scroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Press enter, Rudy.
Oh, now it came up. Okay, it came up. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you got to scroll to the bottom, and for some reason, do you see the whole of it on your page?
Well, no, actually not. I just see all the Zoom meetings.
Right.
You probably pasted it, Rudy, but didn't hit enter.
Well, okay. Thank you.
Enter.
Maybe I do this all the time. Is that by hitting file?
No, just hit the enter key on the keyboard.
Okay. All right, so I put it in there, and then do it again, like return.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
There it is?
You pasted it in, you just didn't hit enter.
Okay.
It's in there now.
Okay, great.
Is
Thank
it?
you. Thank you. So let's bring our attention.
Rudy, you only sent it to me.
Well, I'll tell you what. I did it again. I'm pasting it again. Okay. And if I hit return, did it go to everybody? No. Did you get it? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's bring our attention and our awareness within. Remember what we do this for. Let's think about the judgment we place on the world. It's good, it's bad. The horse ran away, the horse came back. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't. Our joy will manifest that joy in the world. We are at cause. Let's remember we're at cause. And let's not get fooled again. All right. Ma.
Mwah.
There's a lot of love going on.
Thanks, everyone.
Love y'all.
Da-da,
Thank you.
da-da, da.